Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name's Jack, this is Jthbooks, and are you ready to go on a new adventure with me? Because we're doing something we haven't done before. We're reading the Booker Prize Longlist. So, like I said, I've never done this before. I've always enjoyed the Booker Prize. I've enjoyed watching other people's vlogs and other people read them. In my heart, I long to be a Booker boy like Bob the Booker or Ben Reads Good or Eric Carl Anderson, Simon Savage. I want to be one of them. They're very kind, intelligent people, and I'd like to be one. So I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to bite the bullet and do it. There's nothing else to say. I am going to do it. It is currently the 29th of July. The Longlist came out today at 2 o'clock. It is now about 4:30. I rushed everyone out of work early. I said, I need to go to the bookstore because I only owned one of them. So I have read one from the long list. The others I have not read. I did not own. I still don't own some of them, but I did. I rushed to the bookstore. Here is the long list. I'll put a little picture up here. By the time you see this, you will all, I'm sure, be very familiar with the long list. I'm very excited. I'm very nervous. If you follow me, and I have been around for a while, my reading has been great lately. But I feel like a project like this is going to kick it into gear. If you don't follow me, the reading hasn't been great lately. But I have a feeling this project will kick it into high gear. Hi, if you don't follow me, welcome. It's a bit chaotic here, but you're more than welcome to join us. If the camera angle has changed, it's because my phone fell off. If you're new here, that happens quite a lot. If you're a regular viewer here, you will know that happens quite a lot. But let's stop talking about myself and let's talk about the books. So, like I said, I shoved everyone out of work early and I went to the bookstore and I managed to buy some of the long list. They did have more there that I could have brought, but I didn't buy them all, and you'll see why. So, I'm going to split this vlog into two. I'm going to do 6 and 6. There's 13 on the list, but I have already read one. I'm going to talk about that one in a minute. I bought 5 at the bookstore. Let's see if I can... Oh, don't damage the books. Don't damage the books. That won't make a good first impression if you're new here, will it? So, in this vlog, I am going to be reading Flesh by David Soloy, The Land in Winter by Andrew Miller, Audition by Kate Kitamura, One Boat by Jonathan Buckley, and Misinterpretation by Lydia Joga. I hope I pronounced all those names right. I did look them up. I did try, but if I got it wrong, I am very sorry. But I did try because I think it's important to really try and get people's names right because, it's just decency, isn't it? But there will be one more being read in this vlog. I just don't know which one it is yet because, I've got a little notepad here. I'm being very professional. Universality by Natasha Brown, Endling by Maria Reva, Flashlight by Susan Choi, and Sea Scraper by Benjamin Wood, I have put on reservation at the library because I think it's a good time, if you're doing a long list like this, to save a bit of money and support the library. In my local library, you have to pay 75p to reserve a book, which I assume goes towards the upkeep and the help of the library, which I have no problem with. In fact, I like that very much. Then we have Love Forms by Claire Adam. That wasn't in the shop. I did try and find that one. The Loneliness of Sonia and Sunny by Kieran Desai. That doesn't come out until the end of September. The shortlist will be announced by then. So, and then The Rest of Our Lives by Ben Markovitz. I'm going to have to procure them from somewhere else. The book I have already read was The South by Tash Orr. I was very lucky to get an early copy of this book, and I was lucky enough to hear him speak at an event. I'll put a little picture there if I still have it. If not, ignore this. I was very lucky to hear him speak, and then I liked it so much, I brought myself a signed, finished copy because I really did love this book. In the South, we follow a boy named Jay who, when his grandfather dies, he leaves a once flourishing farm which is now in disrepair, to his family, and they travel south to live there. And while he's working there, he gets drawn to a boy named Chown, and their relationship and their feelings for each other intensify, and it is their story of them falling in love. Now, this is the first in a quartet, so I'm quite surprised to see it on the list, but having read it, I'm really, really not. This is one of my favourite books of the year. I'll link my best books of the year videos so far down below, and you'll see that it was in the top 5. I think it's a really glorious book. What I like about this book is the sort of synopsis. It really focuses on these two boys and sort of their relationship forming. But for me, what it really is a family saga. You really do get the different perspectives of his mother, his father, his uncle, his sisters. And when they all combine together, it just feels like this glorious family saga. It was so good. I loved hearing about his mother and his father and how they grew up and how they all came to be at the place where they are, with the connections that they have, with the relationships that they have with each other. I think it was really a triumph. Like I said, I'm a bit surprised because it is the first in a quartet. Could we see all four of them on the long list? Who knows? Tash Orr has been nominated before. This was my first Tash Orr, but it certainly won't be my last. I will definitely pick up his other ones. But for me, it was just really tenderly written. It was really intimate, yet somehow sort of this grand and sweeping look at a farm in disrepair, and the juxtaposition between this grand sort of space that they were trying to deal with and then the intimacy of the relationships forming was so brilliantly done. Yeah, like I said, it was one of my favourite books of the year. So, and I'm glad I read it now because I'm one ahead. I am one ahead. That is, I'm pleased about that. But now I can't decide which one to read next. Which one am I going to start with? I think it might be Flesh. I can't lie. I managed to pick myself up a signed copy somehow. That was lucky, wasn't it? But I think it's going to be that one first. I don't know what it's about. I'm not going to tell you what it's about until I'm halfway through when I update you. But I haven't said this in a while, but I'm going to go and read right now. So I will check in with you when I'm halfway through each book I think I'm going to do. And I'll speak to you all soon. Friends, you're not going to believe this, but it is the next day. It is the next day, and I'm halfway through Flesh by David Saloy. And I have to tell you, I'm really enjoying it. And like I said, I haven't really been reading, so this just tells you how readable it is. It is immensely readable. But let me give you a brief synopsis of what it's about. So it starts off, and we're following a 15-year-old boy named Istvan, I hope I've got that right, who is in Hungary, living with his mother, and he begins an affair with his next-door neighbour, who's the same age as his mother. And that is very important in the story, but it's also not. Basically, you follow his life throughout. I don't know how far it's going to go up. I'm only halfway, but you are following his journey through life. And I have to say, I really am enjoying it. It is immensely readable. It's quick, it's pacey, yet somehow it's really sparse and spare, this book, but it never feels like you're not getting enough from the characters, from the story. The author is getting the balance just unbelievably right. For me, anyway. I can't put the thing down. I reckon, what's tomorrow? Thursday. I reckon I have it finished tomorrow. Yeah, it's just, I just feel like you're getting to know the character on a really deep level, but the writing isn't flowery. It's not overdone. It's really sparse. The conversations that he has are very short and sharp, just like especially in the beginning, like a teenager would have. It feels really real. It feels like you get to see this character Istvan as how he presents himself to the world, and then how he actually is, like his thought process and things. And it's really, really interesting. But I'm gonna go and read the rest right now, and I'll come back to you, I reckon, tomorrow when I finished it. It's Thursday. It's the next day, and I have finished Flesh by David Saloy. But I'm going to talk about it in a minute because one of my library books came in, Universality by Natasha Brown, which is the one I'm going to start next. But as I went to leave the library, I got in my car and my car wouldn't start. Oh, the panic. I've never had anything like it. It just wouldn't start. And I have insurance, but I don't have insurance that covers me for a breakdown. So I had to call emergency breakdown people. And as I was calling them, it came back on. And I was like, I'm going, it's come back on. She was like, you might need cover. And I said, I've got to go. And I was screaming all the way home, being like, I can't stop, the car won't start again. So I just feel a bit flushed and a bit now. But I need a strong glass of Pepsi. That's what I need. But first, I want to talk to you about Flesh. I finished it in 2 days. I have not finished a book in 2 days all year. It is immensely, immensely readable. It reads quick. The whole story just moves and it keeps you really compelled. And I really did enjoy it. I'm not going to sit here and say it's one of my new favourite books or anything like that. I think it's an incredibly booker book, but I don't think it's like one of my favourites. I think it had moments of real beauty, and I think at times it was on the cusp of just being a bit tedious, just a bit. Sometimes my brain sort of went, oh, is it gonna, but it always managed to bring it back for me. It always did. So I'm very grateful for that because it made the reading experience very pleasurable. But I think this is a look at masculinity and how men present themselves to the world and how it's so different to what they really feel. For example, in this, Istvan will have these conversations and he often replies like, yeah, sure, I don't know. But then, even though it's in third person, you get inside his head and he will say partly what it feels. And as you get to know him and know his character, you'll know that's still not it. There's going to be more. And it's so thrilling to see these layers be pulled back from him as a character. It's so thrilling to read. And every time you think, oh, he said something, you think, no, there's more to come. There's more to come. And it really keeps you engaged and it really keeps you sort of attached to him as a character. But you follow this man throughout his whole life. And I'm not going to spoil anything for you. And I'm not saying he dies at the end, but it just sort of leaves you a bit bereft at the end. You just sort of think, oh, and just to see him go through stages of life and how he presents himself to the world and what things happen to him, and it also maybe leaves you grappling. Is he bad? Is he good because of the things he does? It's a really, really interesting read like that. And I can't imagine I ever would have read this if I wasn't reading the book of Longlist. I think it's going to be quite a book of favourite. I'm going to say now I expect to see it on the shortlist. But now saying that, we are going to start Assembly by Natasha Brown. One, because it's a nice short one, I'm not going to lie. And two, it's coming in the library. It has come in the library today. So what I'll do with this one, it's only 150 something pages, so I will check in with you when I finished it, which if I like it, it could be tomorrow, which would be great, wouldn't it? So yeah, I'm not going to tell you what it's about, but I feel like this is probably the most well-known one of the Booker Prizes, the one I've seen most people read and talk about, because a lot of people loved her first one, Assembly, and she has also just been named the head judge of the International Book for 2026, so she's having a great year. She's having a great year, Natasha. But I will catch up with you when I have read this book. If I look a mess, it's because I've just come in from work. But I'm very proud to tell you, it's the next day, by the way, I finished Universality by Natasha Brown. That's right. I finished it in one day. I read two, well, including The South. I'm in three. I've read three of the Booker Prize so far. And, well, let's talk about Universality first before I talk about another book. So, Universality, let's just say I'm glad I bought it from the library. In this, the first part of this is a newspaper article So, Universality. The first part of this is an article where the journalist is figuring out the sort of what happened on the night on a farm when a man got hit over the head with a gold bar. And then the other sections go on to follow people's lives from that article, after the article. And I quite enjoyed the article. I was quite into that. It felt like a novel. And I say that will make sense in a minute when I explain myself more. To me, this didn't really feel like a novel. It didn't really feel like a story. It felt like a collection of opinions, whether they're the author's opinions or not, which I don't think they really are. But it just felt like I was being bombarded with opinions and characters feeling things to shock me rather than that they actually felt them. I don't know. I just never quite got into it or got a grip on it, or, it never sunk its claws into me. It was just fine. There were parts I enjoyed. The last page I really, really liked, not because it was the last page, but I thought that was some of the best writing of the whole book. Yeah, it was a pretty average book for me. I'm not going to sit here and say I loved it when I didn't. I don't know whether it make the shortlist or not, but I personally wouldn't like to see it on there. I don't think it, like the other two I've read, The South and Flesh, I don't think it captures or evokes the same things that they do. It doesn't feel personal. It doesn't feel, I don't know. It just felt not like a novel. It just felt like I was being bombarded with things and yeah, it wasn't for me. Let's leave it at that. It wasn't for me. Next, I'm going to go on to Misinterpretation by Lydia Joga. Now, this is the one I'd never even heard of before. It's by Jthbooks. I do have another Jthbooks book up there on my bookshelf that I haven't read yet either. So this can be my first two, actually. I just bought one recently. This can be my first book that I've read published by this publisher. But yeah, this is one I had never heard of before. So very excited to go into this one. It's only around 320 pages, but can you see that? Very small font. Very, very small font. But no idea what it's about. Very excited. I will check in with you when I'm halfway. Is it weird for me to be in bed? I don't know, but it's been a long week. I worked 6 days last week. It's been a long week, but I am halfway through Misinterpretation, and I have some things to say. So in this, we are following an Albanian translator who translates for people that need it at things like appointments or therapy sessions, which is something I've never even considered, embarrassingly. But she meets this man who she translates for, and her situation is too similar to his. So she gets told she can't do it anymore. And then you sort of go on her journey after that. And I have to say, at the beginning, I was really enjoying this. Like I said, embarrassingly, I hadn't even considered it because the world is so catered to the English language. I hadn't even considered people would need it. Embarrassingly, I apologise. And I thought that was so interesting. And there's a lot of hints that, like, their mothers are the same, like the man she's translating for and her mother. So that's why she's not allowed it. But you get the sense that their situations are the same. And it's really interesting. And I thought it could really sort of be delved into that the art and the act of the translating and that similarity, how it affects her. But it's kind of veered off from that, and it's gone a bit much more just about her life and now what she's doing. Now she can't translate for him anymore, and how she gets sort of so involved with her clients, or how much it affects her that it is affecting her marriage. And it is very readable. It's Monday. When did I start this? Friday, maybe? Did I start it Friday? Yeah, maybe I started it for like a couple of seconds. A few pages on Friday. So it's very interesting in that way, but I think I preferred it when it was talking more about the translation, and I think it could have explored deeper the translation between the connection of the translation between who she's translating for and how it affects her. So I'm into it. There are moments when I'm like, am I? But it does always seem to bring me back. It is always seeming to do that. It's sort of the most conventional book that I've read so far for the list, I'd say. Like, Flesh very much had its own style. Universality, like I said, wasn't that much of a story to me. So this is one that I'm more used to reading. But my car's in the garage, as you know. It broke down a little bit. So it's in the garage having a service. I have no plans today. Halfway through, my aim is to come back later and finish it, because my next book has come in from the library. Let me quickly grab it. Seascraper by Benjamin Wood has come in. So this will be my next read. It will be my next read. And look at that. It's short. It's short. I know I said I was going to read some books in this, but I didn't expect my library to crack on as they have done. So this will be my next read. Hopefully I will start that this evening. And now I'm just going to try and get this finished and read this. It's a bit late in the day, but yes, I'm dressed. Yes, I've changed my duvet cover, because I change my duvet cover every week, every Monday, and I have to go in a certain order, otherwise I have bad luck. But we're not going to talk about that. And yes, I had to get dressed because I forgot I had an appointment, so I've had to go out. So it is a bit later, but I have finished Misinterpretation. Now, when I last left you earlier, I was in the middle of it and I was a little bit lost. It lost me a little bit in the middle, but I'm glad to say it got me back. It got me back. I loved the end. I enjoyed the beginning, lost me in the middle, loved the end. There's a lot that I haven't told you what happens in this book, purposefully to keep you surprised if you're going to read it. No spoilers, basically. No spoilers here. But where this translation job leads her to, it's quite a wild ride, but it's also really not. It's really believable. It's really, towards the end, it gets really sort of taut and tense and sort of has almost like a thriller aspect to it. And it gave me anxiety. I'm not gonna lie. She had anxiety. She passed it on to me. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I think it's a really good book. It has some really sort of beautiful moments. Just listen to this on page 18. This is sort of the situation she's got herself in with, and how it is affecting herself and her marriage, because it really affects her whole life. But it says this: he was relaxing now, but something about our closeness made me feel an unexpected terror. He was signing on to be her. Although we'd been together for years, I felt sure we were sinking into unknown. He was signing on to be her. What a line, what a line. I said it lost sort of that translation element from the beginning in the middle, but I would say that comes back at the end, which I really enjoyed. And I also ended up really enjoying where the story went. Like I said, it gets really sort of tense and taut, and it sort of has you hooked on the edge of your seat, as well as some of these really sort of beautiful passages. And I think it's a look at what trauma does to us, what unexplained trauma, unprocessed trauma does. I think it's a look at language. I think it's a real look at what it means to live somewhere else where you weren't born, and how that can affect you and the people around you. I think it deals with some really big things, and it does them well, but also has this storyline running through it. So yeah, I ended up really enjoying it. And I never would have read this. Never ever would I have read this. So well done, Booker. I enjoyed this. It really kept me reading. Like, this whole prize is really keeping me reading. I'm really happy. But now we're going to go on to Sea Scraper by Benjamin Wood. I've damaged the plastic bit. We're going to have to ignore that. Although this is a short book, which I'm very happy about, and I know nothing about it. Tiny writing. So I would like to have this finished by tomorrow, really, so I can catch you up tomorrow. But we'll see how it goes. But I'm going to start this right now. It's the next day, don't worry, I'm parked up, and I'm here to tell you that last night I finished in a day Sea Scraper by Benjamin Wood. I forgot his surname, and it's like the easiest one so far. So in this we follow a man named Thomas, which is my middle name, JTH, and I'm going to call him a sea scraper. He fishes for shrimp along the shoreline, but he doesn't do it like a rod. He does it with a horse and a cart, and he scoops them up. And he lives a very mundane life until this American director comes to town and wants Thomas's help to shoot his movie on the beach. And I have to tell you, friends, this is my favourite so far. I loved this book. I loved it so much. Not only is it my favourite so far, it's one of my favourite books of the year. I loved it. It's so tender. It's really moving. It really sort of made me well up at points. I think the characterisation of Thomas is so brilliant. You can feel him sort of run down by the mundaneness of his life. You can really feel it. And he actually wants to be able to have enough confidence to pick up his guitar and go play in the local pub. That's all he wants. And you just ache for him. Like, we all feel like we have mundane lives at the time, and we all think, is there nothing more than what we are doing? I know I've certainly felt like that. I'm probably feeling it right now, to be honest, because if you've been around the channel for a while, you know it's been a bit of a rough period for me. But I just connected so much to that. And then when he gets a chance for something more, that sort of quiet excitedness he had, where he couldn't quite believe it and he couldn't quite let himself get too excited. It was on the cusp. He was scared of the excitement because of everything that's happened in his life. And there are just really beautiful passages, like there's a bit where his mother sort of gives a speech, and that sort of choked me up. There's a twist that I didn't see happening. I didn't see it happen. I feel like some people will, but some people are much cleverer than I am. Adored it. I adored this book. I can't believe I borrowed this one from the library because I want a copy. I'm actually in a car park right now. Don't worry, I am stationary to try and get the last two books I need for the Booker Prize, apart from the one that doesn't come out till September. And I might buy this one. I might buy a finished copy of this one, to be honest, because I loved it so much. I really thought it was brilliant. I thought it was quite exquisite, to be honest. It just captured me. It moved me. I feel like this is a book I could reread and reread. Oh, it's just so good. And that twist, that's what I was talking about, wasn't I? I got a bit excited. The twist, there's someone learning their car, learning to drive over there. The twist, I just didn't see it coming, and it sort of broke me. And then his reaction to it, Thomas's reaction, was sort of so beautiful that I just loved it. It's been a while, even before I was reading the Book of Prize, where I've had that feeling that I love a book. I know when a book's a favourite of mine or a favourite of the year, because I just get this feeling in my stomach that I can't explain, and this gave me it. I loved it. I really, really loved this book. But now I'm going to go on to One Boat by Jonathan Buckley. I don't know anything about this. It's a Fitzcarraldo, which they're normally on the International Booker, but they've snuck onto the Booker long list, so well done to them. I don't know anything about it. All I know is people keep comparing it to Rachel Cusk. Now, I've never read a Rachel Cusk, and everyone that has is sort of struggling with this one that I've seen. But I haven't read one, so I should be fine. I'll check in with you when I get halfway, but love, adore this book. Hello, friends. It's Thursday. When did I last speak to you? Was it Tuesday? It was Tuesday. I didn't check in with you yesterday because even though I did finish One Boat by Jonathan Buckley, I didn't check in halfway because I didn't realise it was only 166 pages. I thought it was much longer than that. It looks longer, but it felt that long, trust me. But in One Boat, we follow a woman who has gone to a Greek island, the same Greek island where she went 9 years ago after her mother passed away. She returns there 9 years later after her father passes away, and she re-encounters the people that she met the first time. That is essentially it. And I didn't like this one. I'm playing with an elastic band and I couldn't hold up the book. I didn't like this one. It was dull. I know I shouldn't say that, but it was so dull. It was really wordy. It felt pretentious, I'm not going to lie. There were times when she was having conversations with the people that she knew, like whether she met them the first time or whether she was, reconnecting with them. And I was vaguely interested, vaguely. But other than that, no. This is down there with universality for me. It wasn't good. I'm sorry. It wasn't good. I didn't like it. It was so wordy. It was just like, oh, how many words and how many, can I fit onto the page? How can I make this sentence longer than it needs to be? Yeah, it wasn't for me. I know that sounds harsh, but you've got to be honest. I know some people will want this to win. That's just reading, isn't it? That is just reading. Some people love things, some people hate things. It's just reading. It's all fun. But it wasn't for me. Now I'm going to go into the last book for this vlog, and I couldn't decide. So I put a little story up on Instagram, a little poll. Let the people decide. And they went for the pictures here. Audition by Katie Kitamura. I know nothing about this one apart from the ending has really polarized people. Some people love the ending, some people hate it. I'm very, very intrigued to see where I fit. But then I've read this. I'm not going to check in halfway because it's only 100. I'm at the end. I don't want to see a spoiler, but I'm trying to look for the page number. 197 pages. So again, I'll check in you when it ends. I'm excited to see where I land on this one. And then we'll wrap up this vlog. We'll wrap up part 1 because we will have read 6 books. So, achievement. But I'll speak to you when I finished this one. Good afternoon. It's Sunday and I have finished Audition by Katie Kitamura. What can I say to you about this one? I never want to hear the name Xavier again. Well, I haven't told you what it's about. I finished it because, again, short one. So there's no point checking in halfway. Although it did have 2 parts, so I could have, but I didn't. Part 1, we are following a sort of a semi-well-known actress, and she's meeting with a much younger man in a cafe who believes he is her son, but she knows that's not true. And then you go on to part 2, and I'm not going to say anything about part 2 in case you're reading the long list or you want to read this, but this wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. Maybe I'm just not clever enough. I should have told you at the beginning, I'm not a clever boy. Like, I'm never gonna, I'm not clever. But yeah, this wasn't for me. It really wasn't for me. In a weird way, I can appreciate that it was well written. I can appreciate that it was even good. I know some people love this and think it's the best. I think we'll see it on the shortlist. I do think we'll see it on the shortlist. Would it be on my personal... Well, I'm not going to say that. Maybe at the end of part 2, I'll do like my shortlist. But I think we could see it on the shortlist. Yeah, it just wasn't for me. Like I said, I can appreciate it's good. I can appreciate that it's well written. It was a very confusing ending. But maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. But no, it wasn't for me. So there we have it. I have finished the first 6 books of the book along list. 2 from the library, 4 I brought. On to the next 6. I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. I think this has been fun. I've really enjoyed doing this. I've really enjoyed the books. Well, not all of them. Let's not lie, Jack. Let's not lie. Not all of them, but some. Oh, I keep wanting to talk about my shortlist, but I'll save that at the end of part 2. It's Editing Jack here, just to say, when this video goes up, I will be in the middle of the ocean and I won't have any signal. So I will reply to your comments as soon as I can get them when I'm back on dry land, because I'll be going on a cruise. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know that. So enjoy the vlog, please. Let me know if you're reading this list. Let me know if... Just let me know if you're reading these books, if I interest you to read any of these books, particularly Seascraper here. I want to thank you all so much for... Feel free to like and subscribe. This is my first foray into the booker world, so please be kind. Like and subscribe will really help, and I'm going to speak to you all really, really soon. Look out for part 2.